Hey everyone, Matt from Herbal House here, and in this video we're giving you guys a full run through on the AC Infinity T-Series Grow Fan. Now these are more than just a grow fan, please be aware of that. They're an extremely versatile piece of equipment, but I'm just going to explain to you just how good these fans are, because in this latest video they've got a few more updates that are well worth checking out versus our previous video. So this particular unit we've got here is the T6, which is a 6-inch diameter inlet and outlet which transfers to 150 millimeters. These are available in 4-inch, 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, pretty much every size you could need depending on your application and flow rate requirements. They are an absolutely gorgeous piece of equipment. Now the fan itself is fully controlled through an EC motor, which means that these can easily ramp from 10% output power right up to 100% with gradual increments to suit your needs and of course your noise requirements. Of course, being a very robust and reliable fan, we find that these things are extremely quiet for the amount of airflow that they provide. But it's little more than just what the fan is going to offer you. It's actually the control system. So I'll just run through what we've got in the box here. I've got a UIS ecosystem booklet here because these controllers that come with these fans are amazing. It can do a lot more than just a fan. Cloudline's fan installation guide. We've got an interconnecting cable which connects your fan to the included controller here, which is a wonderful piece of equipment. Plenty more on that soon. A temperature and humidity sensor for this controller, some straps for hanging the fan, and of course installation hardware with soft zip ties, clamps for connecting your ducting, and of course hardware mounting equipment. Now, just cutting back to this controller here, this controller is really the magic brain of everything that we've got going on here. AC Infinity has done such a wonderful job with these, and it really does make these fans versatile. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this powered up and give you guys a quick run through on the analog unit that we've got right here. So this new controller that they're including with these is the Controller 69 Pro. So that means you've got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi integration, which is a nice upgrade over the Bluetooth integration, because once you get the AC Infinity app on your phone, which is free, you can then look at your equipment, make adjustments, check logs, and everything else under the sun that these controllers have to offer remotely. So really nice for those people who are going away and just need that reassurance. So this particular controller can be mounted anywhere within the length of the cable that's included. We've just made a big mess here, but this cable that's included as standard is a 10-foot cable, which whatever that translates to in metric, will give you the length that you can mount this controller from your fan. Of course, once you've connected to this remotely, you technically really don't need to get to this controller. Now, if we take a look on the back side here, I'll show you how we've connected it up. So these Controller 69s have 4 ports, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the temperature humidity sensor, which we've already just plugged in there. So that means you're capable of running up to 4 pieces of equipment. Really nice to basically integrate all of your equipment on a single system. But what we've got here is the fan plugged into port number 1, which is powering up the controller, and of course the sensor there to read on the display. Now I will mention these are actually magnetic, so really nice if you just want to attach that to a metal plate, which is why AC Infinity includes metal plates on their grow tents. So really nice piece of equipment. Now there is a lot of glare here on the controller, but I'm going to kind of describe what's going on and what this is capable of. Effectively, you can just set this fan to a single speed position, which is really easy, anywhere from 0 to 10. So really nice to be able to set that manually, but realistically this controller is capable of so much more. You can set humidity set points, temperature set points, scheduling, cycling, even VPD tracking for those of you who really want to dial that in. But what I want to show you next is the app control. Okay, so now that we've downloaded and installed the AC Infinity app, we've followed the prompts to connect our device, which is simply the Controller 69 Pro. You're going to be greeted with this screen here, so you can see all of your devices. Of course, the first one there is the one we've just connected, and if you had multiple fans or controllers, they're going to be detailed just below. So this is a really nice way to glance straight in and see what the temperature is, what the humidity, VPD, and of course what the ports are doing. And of course port 1 is the fan, which we've got connected there, and currently it is running at speed 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight into this device and get right into showing you guys some of the bells and whistles. Now it has of course prompted us with a firmware update. We're not too worried about that just at the moment, so do not show and later. So okay, starting here, you're going to see we've got some ports at the top. Now currently we were set to port 1, but if you needed to make adjustments to all of your ports at once, you'd simply set them to all. And what you're going to notice is we've got a temperature display, humidity, VPD, and the level that the fan is running at. Nice and simple. We've got this beautiful gauge in the center, which is showing us the current temperature, which is displayed by that little yellow arrow, and we've got the set point for our auto mode. But before we get right into that, I'm going to start by showing you the modes this fan's capable of. So just down here, you've got off, on, auto, VPD, timer to on, timer to off, cycle and schedule. So we've got effectively a mode to suit just about anything you need this equipment to do. So I'll show you just straight off the bat. We've got the on mode, which is how you can easily set the set point or the just run speed for your fan. So you can set it to speed 5. The fan is now running at 50% and it's showing us right there in this display what the current fan is running at. So if I dial this right up, you'll see a little arrow pop up showing that the fan is now speeding up to reach speed 9. And it has leveled off at speed 9, so really easy to do that. I'm just going to set that down at speed 6, easy as that. So effectively we can leave this running as is and the fan is just going to run at speed 6 non-stop no matter what. Just keep in mind though, if you disconnect your fan from the controller, your fan will default up to speed 10, just for your reference. What we find most people do is they will simply use the auto mode. So let's jump into that and show you guys what that looks like. So if we scroll down the bottom here, we've got a temperature trigger, a high set point, a low set point, and a humidity high and low set point. So a really nice way to set this up to suit your needs, whether you need set points for the temperature or humidity. We find most growers simply work off the high temperature trigger or high humidity trigger or both. So I'll show you what that looks like. So turn that off and then turn it back on, and this is what we are looking at. We've got the set point here in red, so you can easily make adjustments to the temperature. Now it's of course very hot. We find most people probably have that set around 26 degrees, let's say. Now what this means for you guys is if you look down here in the bottom right, you're going to see a min setting, which is what the fan is going to run at below that set point, and a max setting, which the fan is going to run to once it hits that set point or gradually ramp up to. So for a lot of people, they'll set their min setting at say speed 2, so the fan is constantly idling and it's moving that air and it's filtrating the grow space, which is of course what you want. You preferably don't want your fan to stop running during a grow cycle. So for many people, they'll have that set at speed 2, and once they hit that temperature trigger point, the fan will gradually ramp up. So a really nice way to have the fan effectively automatically run and manage your grow space. Now again, you can do the same if we go down here to the humidity trigger. If I tap that, it's going to change the gauge to show how we want to set the humidity trigger and how it's going to react when we reach those set points. So really easy to do that, and that's what most people will work with. But again, you've got all of these modes here to set the equipment up to suit your needs, because these modes don't just apply to a fan. Whatever you plug in that's AC Infinity, or sorry, communicates with the AC Infinity controller, you can use these modes to program it to suit your needs, and they will simply pop up the top here where you'll see the different ports and you can connect to different equipment. So that's setting up the fan nice and easy, but I want to show you a little more. Down the bottom here, we've got these icons, the one we're currently on here for setting the equipment. We've got the next one over, which is for automations and alerts. Now this is really nice because you can set an alert if you get out of temperature ranges. You'll get a notification on your phone, the controller can beep. Absolutely brilliant for those people who are out and about and they are concerned that they might go out of parameter and they need to know when it happens. So if we go back here, we've got automations for setting. Now there are so many things you can do for these automations. You really need to sit down and read the book because there's just too much to go through here, and it's well worth understanding what they have to offer. We've got graphs down the bottom right here. If we click on that, what you're going to notice is once this is loaded, we've got a little blue bar up the top that's loading there. We'll just give that a second to pop in. Okay, so now we've got a full breakdown graph of the temperature, humidity, and VPD overlay. Plus at the very bottom, you'll actually notice down here, it's actually representing what the equipment is actually trying to run to. So if we just pop over to here, you'll see the fan ran up to speed 7 briefly when we needed it to operate up in that parameter. So really nice to get a breakdown on what the equipment's running at during those conditions. And of course, it's data logging across your grow space or wherever the sensor is. So nice to have all of that information on hand, and you'll actually notice you can set a date range, hour, day, week, month, or year. So it's really impressive to see that you've got all of that information within a single app, and of course having the control over your equipment to reflect that. So just down the bottom right here, the very last icon, we've got a history log to show if you've had any alerts triggered. Really nice to see that you can have a breakdown there just in case you're really pedantic and you need to know what's been happening or what alerts have been triggered. It's good to have a full history of that. So let's go back to our bottom left icon for the fan here. There is one more thing which I'll show you guys. In the top right corner, we've got a cog icon, and this is where you can set the name of your device, of course the temperature display, Fahrenheit or Celsius. Of course, most of us prefer Celsius down here in the southern hemisphere, and the device brightness. Now this is simply referencing, of course, the actual controller brightness, so don't need to stress too much about that. calibration for the temperature and humidity sensor, which is great. VPD temperature offset for your leaf. Of course, that is specific to growing, but nice to know it's in there. And some other adjustments for climate. Now, if we scroll back up at the top here, we've got a port setting, so you can name your port, change the device type. Of course, depending on what you plug in, you can just make adjustments there. Transitions or buffers, which are really nice for really dialing in those automatic set points, and a level status here. So there is definitely more features than what most people could probably need, but nice to know that it's there, of course. And just some further settings in the system. Okay, so now that you've got a little more understanding on what the app has to offer through the controller system, I'll give you guys a real-world application here. We've got set up in our showroom an AC Infinity Cloud Lab tent, and these things are gorgeous. Now, I will mention the Cloud Lab tents do feature this lovely metal plate with a pass-through for the cable, so you can easily set up your controller and, of course, have it magnetized there for easy access. But do remember, with the app control, you pretty much don't even need to see that. So when we come in here inside this grow tent, we've got our extraction fan, which is, of course, the Cloudline T-Series fan. Now that's our 100mm/4" size, which is doing a wonderful job. But of course we are running an AC Infinity iron frame grow light, our Cloud Ray fan in the back, and the iron beams on the side for under canopy coverage. Now this all does integrate with the control system and is completely managed from the one controller. So really nice to have a full ecosystem fully integrated with a single control point that is, of course, app controlled. It's absolutely brilliant. Now keep in mind though, with these controllers, they do work with other equipment through adapters. We've got Type A and Type B adapters, which allow these to run with our grow lights, whether it's the Four Seasons equipment or other alternative options. Just get in touch if you aren't sure. So of course, beyond the grow space, these fans are extremely versatile and do work well for commercial applications, and of course those domestic heat transfer ventilation options, or even bathroom transfers, because these are IP44 rated fans. They do work really well in humidity and of course high temperature conditions. Now I just want to show the guys who are looking for something a little more technical, just a few little aspects on the fan control side. Okay, so depending on where you install this equipment, depending on the orientation, whether it's upside down or vertical, of course these fans don't mind either way, but I'll just show you one little thing beforehand. This plate can be orientated to suit your application, so I'll show you here. 4 easy screws, and you can remount this plate any orientation that you suit. Nice to see that they've thought of that. But now to get into the technical specifications, because there's going to be a lot of electricians out there who are fitting these commercially and they want to know if they can hardwire the fan. Of course, these do come with a fully fit 3-pin plug, which I'll just plug straight back into the fan here. So really easy to just plug that into a wall socket and away you go. But if you did choose to hardwire it, it's very easy to do so because they've done a wonderful job using actual terminals here. So really easy to just loosen those off and hard fit a cable and physically mount this. So onto mounting, of course they do include straps, which we highly recommend using because hanging these fans is a great way to isolate vibrations and keep the fan running as quiet as possible. But I'll show you what it looks like should you choose to hard mount it or even service your fan. You're just going to button off these 2 clamps here. Easy as so. Of course, power tools do make this a dream. Just moving those out the way, we're going to remove the core of the fan. Okie dokie, so if I just show you here, this is of course the base of the fan where you're going to hard mount it should you choose to, using those mounts. But in saying that, it is a really easy way to service the fan blade because after long exposure, if you don't have a filter on these, whether it's a carbon filter or AC Infinity pre-filter, you can of course get a lot of dust and build-up, and it is of course really easy to get in there and give these things a clean because it really helps these fans go the distance and keep them reliable, well balanced, and of course quiet. So I hope we've given you guys a little more insight into what these fans have to offer. Of course, with all of those features that the AC Infinity ecosystem has, it's really a no-brainer if you're looking to invest into high quality equipment. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all, please get in touch with us here at Herbal House. Thanks for watching.